Hey, welcome back to Tiny Garage Fabrication. My name is Matt, and today doing something a little bit different. Driving the 2016 Volkswagen Jetta. I'm going to explain all the reasons why I absolutely hate this car and try to talk any of my viewers out of ever getting into a Volkswagen. They're just, in my opinion, not worth it at all. Also, on my way out to a local auction, gonna try to pick up a new project car or two for the channel, so stay tuned to the end of the video and take a look at what I get. All right, so first off, I want to talk about the smell in this car. I know I won't be able to show it to you on screen, but the sound deadener that Volkswagen uses in these cars, it has what the internet calls the melted crayon smell. So if you could just imagine melted crayons, but stronger, never ending, and just friggin' relentless. That's what this car smelled like for the first almost 2 years of ownership. About the first year and a half, my wife and kids practically refused to ride in this car with me because it made them all nauseous and gave them headaches. And apparently, according to multiple forums, multiple complaints online from other people who've had this car, yeah, it is near impossible to get rid of. You have to somehow find a way to chip out all of the factory sound deadener that's under the carpets, it's under the dash, it's everywhere in this car. And I'd like to say that it actually works, but coming up, one of my complaints, actually the next complaint, is the noise inside of this car. The noise is so bad. It's just got this drone, this road noise. It peaks at 45 miles an hour. So I'm driving 45 right now. You may have noticed a change in pitch in the background noise. I'm going to switch over to a different camera view and a different microphone to try to capture this noise a little bit better. Right here you can see I'm at 40. Get this out of the way. Here we go, 45 miles an hour. I'll set the cruise control. Alright, so 45 miles an hour. Now most of the roads around my house that I kind of drive on are 45. Now, it might not show up on this, so I've got this other recorder over here, but the noise, the drone that this thing puts out is just, it's mind-numbing. I hate it. It gets so loud some days. Now, the pitch varies a little bit with the roads. Right now, it doesn't appear to be as loud as on the roads around my house, but if I want to drive the speed limit, I'm doomed to suffer this noise. So I either have to drive slow or drive fast. Either one of those options don't really appeal to me. I'd love to be able to just drive the speed limit, set the cruise control, and just go. But this noise, this constant hum, this drone, that is so annoying. I'm so over it. I cannot wait to get rid of this car. Alright, next up I want to talk about the windshield. Now, you're looking at me right now, so you can't really see it, but the windshield is always foggy, cloudy, dirty, and that's on the inside. So whatever cheap plastic or whatever it is that they use on the dash, it outgasses and it just constantly fogs up or messes up the windshield from the inside. It's always dirty. It's near impossible to clean. You can wipe it, you can scrub it, but it comes right back, especially during the summer on hot days. Next up is the windshield wipers. Ever since I got the car, the wipers have always been kind of subpar. I don't know how well we'll be able to catch this on video, but the windshield wipers have always left this gigantic area right here, right in my field of view, where it just never gets all of the water off the window. Whether it's when I use my washers or during a rainstorm or anything like that. Now, it was like this with the factory wipers. It was like this with the second, third, and now fourth pair of wiper blades I've put on here. Not only that, but finding wiper blades for this car. You go to an auto parts store, you order them online. A lot of wipers have like a universal fitment, right? It's supposed to fit all cars. Yeah, not this thing. This has what's called like a B pin or a pin B type of wiper arm attachment. And that is only included in things that you have to specifically find in special order. So if you want to just go down to your parts store and get new wiper blade refills, yeah, no, ain't happening. It frustrated me to no end after the first set that I replaced. But like I said, this has happened with every single pair of blades I put on this car. So clearly it's something wrong with the, I don't know what it is, but this just always there, always, and it's frustrating. Next up is the blind spot. Oh my God, I have nearly sideswiped so many cars on the highway trying to change lanes to my left that it is absolutely out of control. Look up in the rear view, can't see any portion of a car. Look in my side view mirror, cannot see any portion of a car. And so you want to do that so you don't have to take your eyes off the road, but I find myself having to go forward and turn and physically look behind me, take my eyes off the road in front of me to see if there's any cars next to me, because it is always a gamble. You cannot see the car next to me. It's absolutely absurd how bad the blind spot is in this Jetta. Next up, there's a pocket under the radio, and it looks like a great place to throw your change because it's fairly accessible. The problem is they put the 12-volt port, like the cigarette lighter port, right there as well. And as you're fumbling through this thing trying to get coins out, anything smaller than a quarter can and will fall into there. It'll ground out and it'll blow the fuse. Now that doesn't seem like such a big deal, right? It is. It's a pain in the butt. The problem is nowhere in the owner's manual that came with the car does it tell you where the fuse is for that 12-volt power supply. So the fuse boxes aren't labeled. Owner's manual doesn't tell you where it is. One more time I had to go above and beyond, consult the internet, find out from the multitudes of other people who this has happened to, because it is an absolutely poor design on Volkswagen's part, and find out what fuse box, what amperage, and what fuse it is so that I could replace it, because metal objects have been dropped in there. Not just because I'm oblivious to anything, it's just that it is in such a terrible location. Also, I had some other people driving my car, and when I got it back, the fuse was absolutely blown, so I guarantee that's what happened to them too. Let's see, next, the speakers. The factory speakers in this car have been crackling like they're blown since about my second month of ownership. Now, I enjoy my music loud, but not too loud. I have never turned the stereo up more than halfway. It's a touchscreen display. It's got a little bar that goes across as you turn it up. Never has it crossed that halfway mark. Speakers are blown. So, you know, just the cheapness with which everything in this car is made just blows my mind. Next up, to go along with the stereo, it's supposed to be compatible with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Man, that is such a headache. This car absolutely despises anything that you plug into the USB that's supposed to go to the stereo. With my first phone, when I would plug it in, it would click on for a second, then off for a second, on for a second, off for a second. So I couldn't charge my phone with the USB. I couldn't link it up because it would recognize it and then forget it, then recognize it and then forget it. It was just a never-ending cycle of not connecting. And I took it to Volkswagen when I would have them on my oil change, as I complained to the service department. I'm like, yeah, the thing won't hook up my phone. Like, it doesn't work. It just does this cycle of dropping out. And they're like, oh yeah, sure, we'll look at it. Well, they didn't look at it, and in the service write-up, they never told me what they came to for their conclusion. So the service department just wildly failed me on that. Never fixed the problem either. And they just told me, it was written in a note on like page 3 of the service thing, said, could not replicate customers, complaint. And then that was it. So instead of like calling me to talk to me and ask me about it or anything, they just wrote a note, said, oh yeah, we couldn't make it do what he was saying. And then by the time I got the car, it was still doing the same thing. Bluetooth connection on this car is also pretty bad. The Bluetooth doesn't sync up automatically. Most times it does, sometimes it doesn't. And when it does, it's not just a matter of like, changing over to the media type or the source. I have to go into the settings. I have to go find my Bluetooth device, go in my paired devices, search through the paired devices that have ever been paired to this car, click on it, and then it will link up, but it'll only link up for the hands-free phone. So I got to find the other button that allows it to play media and still do everything else. So there's like 6 menus I have to go through just to get the thing to link back up again. And then it'll go and it'll play, and it usually works after that. Now the other big problem that I have is the thing just will not, it messes up my actual phone. Now what it does, it's nothing serious, but it's super annoying. I'll get in, and the little touch screen, it'll tell me what song is playing and who the artist is, and then it'll click over to the next song when the first one's done, and it will display an artist and a song name, but it will be playing a completely different song. Alright, so as you can see, it is clearly not Snoop Dogg playing. And this is just what it does. So the audio doesn't match what's going on the screen. And then when I look at my phone itself, the title and artist is wrong on the phone even, but it's playing a song by somebody else. This doesn't happen with any other Bluetooth device that I own, whether it be home or in another one of my cars. It doesn't happen to anything. It's only in the Jetta. And lastly, for the things that I hate, is this car is leased. It was a 4-year lease, up to 40,000 miles. The lease is due in December of this year, but I'm currently sitting at 39,767 miles. So I'm going to turn it in a little bit early. And turning in the lease early is whatever, but they still make you pay for the entire duration that you're contracted for. So I'll turn it in the beginning of September. I'm gonna have to pay all of September, all of October, all of November, and December all at once, because they're gonna get their pound of flesh. They don't care. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm just crapping all over this thing. There are roughly 2 things that I enjoy about this car. Number 1, I like the cup holder. It's got these little grabber things that grab onto Coke bottles pretty nicely. That's pretty rad. And I like that all 4 windows have the one touch up, well, down and up. So, you know, if I want to roll the windows down, rolling the windows down, one touch down, auto, and one touch up, auto. That's seriously the nicest thing about this entire car. And that's pretty sad, because that's not like a Volkswagen only thing. Pretty much any new car you get now will do that. But those are the only things I like about it, which I guess is why I go to auctions and I buy old junk, because I just cannot handle the disappointment of all the money spent on new cars these days. Even less than all new cars is absolutely German cars, Volkswagens. The thing is just trash. All right, well, here's what I ended up with today. 1993 Eagle Talon TSI. The back trim piece, we took that off because there's a locksmith on site. He popped out the trunk key to make a key for it, but here's why I really bought it. It's one of these, man. And check this out. The interior is in fairly decent shape. All the parts are here. It needs a little bit of cleanup, but check out the odometer. 64,000 miles. 5-speed leather. Now here's the damage. The fender's off, and you can see that wheel's bent, and the wheel is actually pushed back. The lower control arm has folded a little bit, so it needs a lower control arm. It looks like the sway bar may be a little messed up. Hopefully the body mounts aren't that bad, but here it is, a 4G63. Looks incredibly stock. It is a turbocharged engine. This motor is capable of making 700 or 800 horsepower, no problem. I'll never push that out of it. Might do an extra something or other, but you know, keep it cool, keep it fun, just clean it up real good. Get a new control arm, new fender for it, put some different wheels on it. There we go. I paid less than $500 for this car. So make sure that you like the video, dislike the video. If you're an absolute Volkswagen fan, that's probably what you're gonna do. But make sure that you comment and tell me why you don't like the video, because every little bit helps. And if you'd like to see the project car that I just got, make sure to subscribe and also subscribe because I've got a lot of other project cars that are getting worked on. There's about 5 that I'm currently doing. So that wraps it up. I'm almost home. I'm tired of driving this car. I can't wait to get rid of it. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.